Welcome back to another episode of The Gold Room. Thanks very much for tuning in. Once again, we've got Wayne Budgery. Thanks very much for coming back, Wayne.
All right, mate.
Beautiful.
Yep.
And our ice skating fanatic, Erik. Thanks very much for coming back in to speak with us, mate. Much appreciated.
What an introduction. Thank you so much for having me back.
Not a problem, mate. So last time you were here, you spoke with us about your range of Master Lock products. Today you're here for the ATG glove range.
Yep, our hand protection.
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. Well, kick us off with a bit of background story around the ATG product.
ATG has been around for the last 30 years. They are manufactured in Sri Lanka. They are a very, very large employer in Sri Lanka. And they're a very different company. The main thing they think about is the world, sustainability, be good for the people. They try to do everything as right as possible, and that's where their glove range comes from, because all they care about is comfort, protection, safety. So that's what they stand for. So it's a very interesting company.
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
we have, as Mayo Hardware, we've had the distributorship for about 5 years now.
Okay.
In the ATG gloves range, what makes it stand out from the competitors in functionality and, say, user friendliness, etc.?
So my point of view, I think ATG stands out from the crowd in a lot of multiple ways. The main one, I think, as a manufacturer, I think they're the only glove manufacturer in the whole world who source 100% internally in-house. Mm-hmm. So there is nothing they outsource. So the quality insurance of their gloves is phenomenal. So every size 9 that you ever pick up in an ATG will always be a size 9, for example. Yep. And the quality is always the same. I've never seen an ATG glove that I picked out of a pack that is slightly different to another one. Everything is the same.
So like a standard across their quality control.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's because they do everything in-house. All the yarns are from in-house, all the dipping is in-house, everything is done in-house by ATG. Nothing is outsourced.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Mate, how does ATG ensure comfortability? How they're making sure that, and practicality, and also, for long use, if you're driving down a decline, you've got your couple of packets of VIN-ready gloves, you want to make sure that you've got enough, you've got a good, decent pair of gloves for the day. So what does ATG do for to making sure that they've got a great product?
Obviously, they've got a very good research and development team over in Sri Lanka, and they pretty much they look into every sort of task that requires hand protection, and they just keep looking into how can we make this glove more comfortable. What can we do for the worker to keep the glove on the hand, essentially, because that's what the main purpose is, because 70% of all hand injuries, they actually occur when people quickly take the glove off for whatever reason, but normally it's because it's discomfort, warmth, sweaty, or anything like that. Take the gloves off, and that's where they quickly do something and then get a hand injury. So that's where 70% of the hand injuries come from.
Wow.
So it's all about, that's why they focus so much on comfortability.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen that myself in underground.
Oh, so you use them yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've also seen it in injuries underground. Say charge up guys, because they're constantly working away, gets covered in water and little bits of fines, etc. Slip it off because it's starting to cut into them from the little bits of rock that it's got stuck in there from when they've been charging, etc. And they pull it off and then go and do a lifter or something like that, and then cut their hand.
Just quickly.
Yeah,
just quickly.
Yeah, I'll just finish this one off.
Yep.
Threw them out of the way. I'll just finish off this lifter and bang.
It's always the way.
Cut the hand.
Good to hear that my actual theory.
Yeah, makes sense.
Be confirmed out of the field.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, can you walk us through some of the key safety features that the ATG gloves have and how they protect the workers from any potential hazards?
Yeah, so all the safety features, they're completely different per task, per glove. ATG
You've got a large range.
Yeah, we've got a big range, and that's not even half of what we have. And out of what ATG in Sri Lanka has, we also have a small part because we obviously only bring into Australia what is required into Australia. But yeah, they really focus on what's the best glove per task, and that's why when we go to site, for example, with our Safe Site program, then we look at different tasks and make a matrix where it's very, very clear what task you do, what glove to wear. But yeah, for example, we recently introduced the back of hand protection glove, so the impact protection glove. So we had a few samples being sent through from Sri Lanka, and everyone had a look, and everyone had their opinion and whatever. And I'm guessing they did that with the whole world.
Do you send those out to specific industries to get feedback before you go into mass production?
No, we don't.
You don't?
Not in Australia, as far as I know.
Okay.
It was more, they went through all the country managers, and the country manager in Australia, he sent some to us so we could have a look at it. Also to keep us excited because we knew it was coming, and we just couldn't wait because we were one of the last ones in the industry to introduce a glove like that.
Okay.
But yeah, we were really excited, and then they with that glove in particular, they decided to only make it in a cut F. So there's other manufacturers that make it in a cut D or in a general purpose glove. But if you're going to do a task that you have the possibility to not crush your hands, but knock your hands so bad that you should probably have a high cut protection as well. So that while we decided we just do it only in the cut F because just give them maximum security.
Yep.
For example.
Mate, can you just go into the cut ratings on gloves? You know, like
What do they mean?
What is
I knew this question was
layman.
coming.
Yeah.
I knew this question was coming.
It's always seems to be a question that we get asked. I want to cut 5.
Yeah.
You know, that seems to be the standard. It needs to be cut 5 and higher. But, you know, looking into it a bit deeper, it goes a lot further than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. So there's actually, as confusing as it sounds, there's actually 3 different ways of testing a glove in the world.
Okay.
So the first one is the Coop Test, which ATG religiously has gone by, which is the second digit on the glove. When you look at the actual ratings, it's the second digit on the glove. And it's a very simple test. It goes, piece of the glove goes onto a machine, and there's you can compare it with a pizza cutter. Just goes over the piece of fabric multiple times, and obviously the higher the amount of times is that the cutter can go over the fabric without going through, the higher your cut rating is.
Okay.
Then a few years ago, the industry started to change, and why that is, I've heard very different stories. But anyway, the reason of the industry is sort of starting to lean towards the ISO standard, which is it's not a number, it's a letter at the end of the glove, or at the end of the rating on the glove. It's a complete different test. So what they do, again, they get a little bit of fabric on the machine, and they get one, like a knife with a weight on it. And then they make one cut, and then obviously the higher that weight is, the higher your cut level is. So it's complete, in my point of view, you can't compare the two. And again, looking at different industries and different tasks, there's probably a room for both. But because they sort of changed the way of testing the Coop Test rating had sort of changed. We always used to have a cut 5, and the Maxi Cut Ultra used to be in cut 5. And that sort of changed, and that dropped down to a 4.99, I think it was 9. So that actually became a cut 4. So it's now a cut 4C. And I think that's where the majority of the market went, yes. ATG has sort of gone from a cut 5 to a cut 4. Most sites will have a minimum of a cut 5 level on site. We're now going to focus on the other ones because I think it's easier to get the ISO rating higher with still having a very thin and comfortable glove. But yeah, then there's an American way of testing, because the Americans try to do everything slightly different in their own way.
Yep.
In this case, it's actually a pretty straightforward and good way how they do it. I don't quite know the details how it's different to ours of the other ones. But yeah, there's 3 cut ratings in the world, which in my point of view is completely ridiculous, because everyone compares apples with apples, especially when you talk about safety. I think you have to compare apples with apples.
What's the process of getting a newly developed ATG glove, say, out from concept, so from somebody's mind, out onto the market, you know?
What the actual process is, I don't know. So I think our biggest, I wouldn't say struggle, but issue is that, for example, with the back of hand glove that I just talked about, it's a glove that we've wanted for a long time, because in Australia, especially in WA, we're ruled by mining, and miners, they seem to look after their staff like as the best to their ability. Whatever it costs, they just want to have the highest cut rating. They want to have the best protection for their workers. So it's one major iron ore miner in WA who sort of made the back of hand mandatory on site a few years ago, and we still didn't even have a glove coming at that stage. So we're like, yeah, we have to have that glove, because we're going to lose sales, which obviously we don't want. So then we obviously, as Mayo Hardware, we put the pressure on that country manager. That's been there for a while. He knew that we had to have one of those gloves. But because Sri Lanka, ATG in Sri Lanka, they're so big, and nationally I think they're one of the biggest glove of hand protection manufacturers in the world, they don't just focus in Australia, because we think we're amazing, and we're a big country, but
in the grand scheme of things, we're not a big country.
We are not. If you compare that to America, China,
exactly,
like they are the big players, and obviously that's where the main focus goes to. Same in the car industry and every other industry.
Yes.
That's where the main focus goes to. So, not saying that they don't listen to us, because I think they're very willing to explore new options, but it has to be financially viable as well, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think when America started to look at back of hand as well, I think that's where ATG went, we need to give this some more priority. And then I was actually really surprised how quickly it actually took off, and we actually had it in stock. So,
So it's more along the lines of demand. So when something becomes more of a need, then the development.
It is and it
follows.
isn't. It's definitely a big part of it.
Yep.
But also they're all about comfort. And a back of hand protection glove, of an impact glove, is never as flexible, as comfortable as any other glove.
Yep.
So that's what I think that was the main reason for ATG to never really have explored that option, because a lot of people use it as a crush protection glove, which is not. The back of hand, it's more an impact.
Yep.
So crush, it's not going to help you. And we've always said it at Mayo Hardware selling ATG, if there's such a big chance that you're going to knock your hand so hard, it's sort of like there's more training issues that needs to be done, and people be made aware.
Or is there mechanical means?
Exactly, yes. So go to the source rather than coming up with a solution for that.
I mean, that's the hierarchy of control, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like PPE is your last line of defence.
Absolutely, that's 100% correct.
So
so they definitely look at supply demand demand.
Yep.
But there's multiple things that they factor in.
Yeah, functionality would have to be up there. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess going back to that, what we were discussing earlier is if it's not comfortable, they're pulling them off.
Yeah.
And then they're putting on another glove that might not have the correct protection.
Absolutely.
Or
no
they're
glove.
just not wearing gloves in general.
Which is also a lot seen in Australia, because some Australians can be very old-fashioned.
Yep.
They love the old riggers glove, which give you basically no protection.
Yeah,
no official.
I'm a fan of the riggers glove.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
So disappointing.
Sorry, mate. I'm just being honest there. Just being honest.
Are you not even Australian?
Oh, mate, I want to be.
A couple more years, you'll graduate.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who love to just wear no gloves as well, which I can completely understand with certain tasks, because the dexterity, especially when you do fine task jobs, it's very important.
Yeah.
And that's why the ATG gloves are so thin, but still give you that. So they still gives you that dexterity, but also that cut protection.
Great. Mate, what is ATG doing to remain environmentally friendly and sustainable when designing and developing their gloves?
So ATG has always been on the front foot with sustainability. They do, from day one, there's a lot of companies that go do it now because big companies, big corporate companies, they ask for it. ATG has always been tried to be as sustainable as possible. So all the factories in Sri Lanka, I haven't been there myself yet, but I've seen a lot of videos, and a few of my work colleagues that have been there last year, and they've told me all about it. Like they've got solar panels on all of their factories, pretty much self-sufficient, I think, in a lot of their electricity. I think they've recently planted their millionth tree.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is a lot. That's a lot of trees.
Yep.
So that's obviously over a number of years. They, with the nitrile on the glove, for example, there's leftovers, there is stuff they can't use at the end of the day, and they've now started to turn that into floor mats for children's playgrounds, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, wow, that's
so
fantastic.
whatever ATG does, they always think about the environment, which is it's something to be extremely proud of, and it's really cool to actually go to a mine site and explain that, because they want to hear that. They need to tick that box in a lot of the cases. But for me, it's more like they actually try to be like a really good, sustainable company.
As an employee, you can really get behind that.
Absolutely.
You know, when you see everyone above you doing the right thing,
Yep.
You know, obviously you want to follow suit.
100%. And I'm from the Netherlands, and we recycle everything, and still hurts me every now and then being Australia, and it all goes in 2 bins and that's it.
Yeah.
Got 3 bins now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that so the lifetime of an ATG glove, for example, is probably 3 times as long as in most other gloves. It's not always utilised, that feature, but it just shows if you can use a glove 3 times as long, there's 3 times less gloves going into landfill.
Yep, that's
So
right.
it's all part of the sustainability, and that's also 3 times less trucks that drive from here to somewhere else, and it all adds up.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, well, actually, you just partially answered my next question, which was how do you believe the gloves themselves offer value for money in line of durability and longevity? I know myself, I wear Cousin Id over here, or Thing, that's grip and hold of the
The Mexicut Ultra.
the Maxicuts. I wear them every day, and I think I might go through a couple of pairs a swing, and I'll wear them for a few days.
Yeah.
I get a good couple of days out of them myself, but I'm not sort of right there at the coalface, you could say.
Yeah,
I'm more of a
absolutely.
supervisory
And that's
role, but I still get a good duration out of the Maxicuts.
Yep. No, and that's obviously completely depending what task you do.
does,
There's
definitely.
a lot of safety advice on site. They just keep them on the hip and they go for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I just put mine in my pocket.
Yeah,
They slip in the pocket and off they go to the next place.
But the durability of the glove, of the ATG gloves, is phenomenal. So we do all the testing in-house as well. And the durability of the glove, the test of the results on the glove only goes up to 4, which is really strange. And I think that's up to 18,000 from the top of my head, cycles or touches or whatever it is. But yeah, I think from our own test, I don't want to lie here, but I think it went up to 25,000 or 29,000.
Yeah.
So it just shows.
We're going to fact check you on that, mate.
Yeah.
Please do
We're
it.
going to get
Please
somebody
tell me.
following you around.
Please tell me if I'm
The
wrong.
counter.
But yeah, it just shows, like with the cut rating, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why not go up higher because I think with sustainability becoming a bigger and bigger part in this world, I think they should do that testing more, because ATG is slightly more expensive than a lot of other gloves on the market or from the industry as well. But that's a really good selling point, because if you actually use your glove twice as long, it becomes twice as cheap.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That point is skipped a lot of time
Absolutely.
in some purchasing circles.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. They try to make a good call, which turns out to be not so good call.
Yeah. I guess, sometimes it's trial and error.
Yeah.
You've got to make these mistakes to learn.
You don't know what you don't know.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Mate, are there any specific design elements with the ATG gloves that prioritises workers' health and safety? Like reducing strain or preventing injuries. I know you've got the back of hand. I mean, that's preventing injuries to the back of hand.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of them. So the grip tack, for example, it's just the technique that ATG uses to get the best grip in your glove possible. So when you pick something up, you need grip. If you don't have that grip, you get hand fatigue, which might sound a bit over the top, but if you wear a glove all day long and you do task all day long, your hands start to become tired, and then you're obviously not as productive as you could be. And one of the bigger and biggest ones probably that ATG has just released is or they've increased the Ad-Apt technology. I don't know if you've ever heard about the.
We were actually discussing it before. It was gonna be. We looked through. Hang on a minute. What is this? You've got it here. The Ad-Apt.
All the ice cubes.
Yeah. What's that about?
So Ad-Apt is one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen in any piece of equipment. It's a technique that's owned by ATG. What it is essentially is within the glove, in the actual fabric of the glove, there is essential oils that when you start to do something, your body starts to warm up, start to sweat. That's or when your body starts to warm up, it releases those essential oils very, very slowly into your skin. And what it essentially does is it blocks your pores, which stops you from sweating, which in combination with the great air circulation in the ATG gloves, the 380 degrees circulation in the glove, it just keeps your hand cool and dry.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's amazing technology.
And it all goes back to it needs to be comfortable, because the more comfortable it is, the longer you wear it.
That's fantastic, mate. That's great.
Yeah, it's incredible how that actually. And when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, right. And then I put a pair on and went to do some work in the garden on a hot summer day. And you just go, wow, that is, especially when you put one of ours and one of the competitors on, and you go, that is insane.
Mate, a couple of those days we had last week would be fantastic to be wearing those.
Yeah, that was a hot week last week.
Bloody oath.
Absolutely.
So what industries or what sectors do you think are benefiting the biggest from the ATG gloves, and why?
Like, surely you're not just in mining.
Right? No. I was going to start with mining. Being in WA, mining is where most of our gloves go to. But it doesn't really stop. Anywhere where there's hand protection required, that's where we can we'll have some sort of solution for a glove. So, for example, chemical gloves, like ATG doesn't really very heavily focus on that. But any other ones beside that, so we do have chemical gloves, but not like a massive range. So any other like manufacturing or anything,
Like processing.
like literally anywhere where you can construction and like literally anywhere where you can have a chance of getting your hands injured, even in warehousing, just a general purpose gloves. How many times do you get a little paper cut, or you just pick something up and go, oh, ouch. Just a general purpose glove in a warehouse or anywhere, gardening, concreting, or the maxi dries with the where it stops the liquids from going through, all the chemicals that goes with that. You name it, any industry where there is hand protection required, we will have a solution that can keep their hands safe.
Yeah, the maxi dries fly off the shelf. They're a bloody big hit out on the mining on some of the mining companies. They certainly the chemical range. It's fantastic.
Yep.
We certainly see a lot of them go.
Yeah, good to hear.
Can you share an example, mate, of ATG gloves being used in like an extreme condition?
In an extreme condition.
High temperature zone, high temperature areas, which I guess is all mining up north.
Yep.
And I suppose, you've kind of already answered it, have you, with this Ad-Apt technology?
Well, that's where most of them go, to the Pilbara, to the goldfields. As you well know, having lived in Kalgoorlie for a few years, it gets bloody hot in there.
Bloody hot, mate.
And in the Pilbara at the moment, it's steaming hot. So
Yep.
It's
also flooding up there. They've got some floods going through at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. Gloves not really going to help you, help you with that, though. But yeah, just those extreme warm conditions. We definitely are one of the better gloves to protect you with that. Just even if it keeps your hands cooler a few degrees over a longer period of time, it will help with the comfort of the worker who's wearing the gloves. And then we've got gloves with cut protection that are used in New Zealand and in Tasmania, for example, where it gets really cold.
Yep.
And they keep your hands warm. And for road workers in Perth, for example, that stand on the side of the road all day long in the pouring rain, they get freezing cold hands.
Are they the Maxi Dry range with the
Maxi Dry Plus? Yep, correct.
I've seen them. Yeah, they're fantastic. It's a great glove.
Really?
I've worn them myself in winter.
Yeah, so when I go for a walk with the dog.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
bloody awesome.
Yeah.
So what kind of feedback do you typically get from clients? And how does that shape the ATG's future glove innovations going forward?
So I think ATG is the first brand or product that I've ever sold in my entire life that I've never had a negative feedback on. Never.
Wow.
That's
So
always a
far,
good start.
yeah. Other than price, because some people they're not prepared to pay a little bit extra. So other than that, the actual product, I have never had a negative feedback on, or we send them to site for a trial and they go, no, we don't like them.
Yep.
They might like another one better for whatever reason, but I've never heard anyone say, oh no, I don't find that comfortable at all, or I really don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
That's good feedback. That's real good feedback.
Probably the best feedback you can ever get.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. And also we had, I think it was a trial in Tasmania where we sent a few of the new Ad-Apt gloves and they tried them, the workers tried them there, and they were like, oh, our hands are too cold. We need another solution.
And you had it.
Which obviously, we did have another solution, but for them to say that was actually like a really big compliment, because it just showed that our product actually works. It actually does what we say it does.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mate, what's ATG doing to stay ahead of the curve? Obviously, there's so much competition out there. There's so many glove suppliers, so many different types of gloves. What is ATG doing to stay ahead of the new technology design?
Well, as I mentioned before, they've got their own research development team. They've got their own engineers and all that. So I'm sure, and I know already they're working on new gloves that we have requested, and they must have had the request from other sides of the world as well. Yep. And they're working on right now, and they've already had a few prototypes, and then they're still finally tweaking the last bits and pieces. But they always look in how we can make it even more comfortable, how we can make them thinner with a higher cut rating, how can we do this, how can we have, so we've got the Maxi Dry, for example, which keeps your hands dry, but how can we get that with a cut protection as well? All that sort of stuff, like they always look at things to improve their glove, but also look at how industries evolve and what's going to be required in 4 years' time or 10 years' time.
Yeah, sounds like an extremely proactive operation.
It is, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, awesome.
And it's not always the quickest mover, but when they bring something new out, it's amazing. And it's the same with the back of hand glove. It's taken a little while, and it was probably the slowest in the industry, but hands down, I can say it's the best.
Hands down. I like that.
Hey.
That was good, mate.
Yeah.
That was good.
Hands down,
Forgive the pun.
It is the best hand protection glove if you ask me, and I'm biased, but it's one of the best ones on the market for sure.
Yeah, awesome. It'll be great to get it out and get some trials out to some of the clients.
Yep.
You know, some of the different sites that we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
It'd be great to be able to say, hey, look, throw these in the mix with your next glove trial.
Yep, absolutely. Happy to help you out wherever I can, man.
Beautiful, mate.
So you just said that there's a few things on the horizon. Can you let the cat out of the bag on any of them?
The maxi dry with the cut rating is one of them that they're working on now.
Yep.
And they're working on a
So that's just to get back to that 5.
yeah. Nah, it won't be a 5.
Yep.
I think the whole Coop Test is going to disappear one day because there's
It
no.
sounds like it.
If no one is going to use it, because everyone in the industry puts an X there,
Yep.
and they all say, "Oh, that's a 10."
Yeah.
That's not a 10. It means that you haven't tested it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of BS going around about that in the industry. But going back to the new developments, I know that they're working on like a hybrid glove between like a latex glove and a knitted glove.
Oh, yeah.
So something like that as well, just to do with the environment again, because if you have a task where you just wear latex gloves all the time and every 5 minutes you chuck them in the bin, and if you can come up with a solution, you can wear that for 2 days, perfect.
Wow.
So they're working on that, and there is a few more which I don't know all the ins and outs about, but I know they're always working on new things.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Mate, look, thanks very much once again for coming and spend the time with Wayno and myself. Much appreciated. And just like last time, you've actually come to the party. You and the team have come to the party, and you've got some fantastic giveaways. You've got some boxes of gloves for companies to try. Do you want to go into a little bit of detail about that?
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much for having us. Absolute pleasure. You guys are awesome to talk to.
Not a problem, mate. Thank you.
Next time we'll do it over a beer.
We should. We definitely
100%.
should. We'll actually rip into the fridge after this and have a couple before you leave.
Sounds good. No, for everyone who's listening to this podcast, obviously we love to get our gloves out on site. There's only one really good way to find out for yourself how good the ATG gloves are. Is put them on your hand and try them. That's the only way. I can talk as much as I want. If you put them on your hand, you go, yep, they are different. So whoever wants a trial, wants to try some, wants to have some freebies, get in contact, and then we'll send them out to site.
Beautiful, mate. Yeah, we'll make sure that Dimitri's putting together an awesome little prize pack. We'll make sure that, whether it be comments down below, whatever it may be, it may be through some of our social media. We'll definitely make sure that we get those gloves out to the right sites.
How about we do the first trial that turns into an order?
Yep.
Gets an extra freebie.
Oh, beautiful. Are we talking an extra box?
No gloves, just something cool.
Oh, okay. I like that. You got a few little hidden away products back at the workshop there.
Absolutely. Go on the Mayo Hardware website and you'll see what our product range is.
Okay.
It's massive.
Awesome. Well, what we might do, first time doing this, we might put a link to the Mayo Hardware website.
Yep. Sounds good.
Is that all right, boss? Yeah. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Well, mate, look, thanks very much once again. Thanks very much to our viewers. We wouldn't be doing this without you. Much appreciated. Don't forget to like, comment, and definitely subscribe. We see that a lot of people are watching the videos. Jump in there and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. It's a great help to us as well. Thanks very much. Cheers.